Welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Certainly glad you've tuned in here. Presented by Central Bank of the Ozarks, Labor's Local 663, Doak Propane, Shelter Insurance, Bank of Billings, and Great Southern Bank, and the Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks, our athletes of the week sponsor. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. We go to Columbia, Missouri, and Hickman High School Lady QP's head coach, Morgan Scott. And Coach Scott, a friend of the show, actually on about a year ago, but not in this version. But Coach Scott, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, I appreciate you having me and the coverage for our program. We really appreciate it.
You're entering your second year there at as Hickman's head girls basketball coach. Tell us a little bit about last season, kind of put a bow on it, and then what you lost to graduation, and who's going to have to step up and fill some shoes.
Yeah, for sure. So last year, I think we finished like 7-15 record wise. You would probably gauge that as not being a super successful year, but I was very surprised about how many people came up to me and said, Coach, great season. And I think that's a true testament to the feel that our program has. People notice it's different. And that first year is so critical in laying the foundation you want for your program and building a culture. And I think we have the right girls to do that, girls who are fully buying into the process. And so while I don't think that record truly reflects the kind of season we had, we played some very good teams who, took care of business in their respectable classes and all that. So a lot of growing for that year. We only graduated one girl to as a senior. So we bring everybody back and have a pretty strong freshman class who I think will be impact players right away. So I'll say the word excited a lot, but that's truly how I feel. I think our program is headed in the right direction and our girls are hungry for it. And, we're going to face a lot of stiff competition and just even here in the town of Columbia, just Rock Ridge and battle down the street. So we're looking forward to it though.
As you mentioned, those teams right down the street, kind of handicap your conference for the viewers, who may not be that familiar with the conference that you're in. Who are some of the members and kind of handicap that a little bit?
Hopefully, I'm not trying to leave anybody out. You put me on the spot. I'm new to the conference too, and the conference itself is fairly new. But you got a Rockridge, a Jeff City, Smith Cotton, who has a new coach this year. Helias, we played Helias over the summer, and I know they lost, a few girls to graduation, but they still have a strong core. You got Avery Cronky, who's going to go to Mizzou next year out of Rockridge, and I'm excited to cheer on, but I can't cheer on too much when we play her, but when she puts that Mizzou jersey on, I'll be full go. But just a lot of tough competition. It's crazy when you go to vote for your all conference players. The list is it's hard to really narrow it down because the competition in our conference is, it's tough. So you got to really bring it game in and game out. So very excited again for the competition in our conference. But from top to bottom, it's going to be very competitive.
Again, we're visiting with Morgan Scott, the head basketball coach at Hickman High School. And Coach Scott, you mentioned a little bit about those teams, in your conference. Outside of that, when you look at your schedule from last year and you go into this year's schedule, any changes, any additions to tournaments or shootouts that you may be participating in?
Yeah, we did have a couple of changes. A few things we're keeping the same. One thing I think our team is looking forward to is we're going to be a part of a tournament in Kansas. I think it's a Kansas Army National Guard tournament. So I think there's going to be some competition coming from other states, an overnight type thing. So it'll be good team bonding opportunity for our girls and just to see teams we wouldn't normally see from just other states. So I know there's like a team out of Oklahoma. I think Blue Springs out of KC. But just it'll be fun for us to get different looks. We'll still take part in the State Farm tournament in Jeff City, which always has great competition. We actually missed out on that last year due to COVID issues within our program. So looking forward to being a part of that for me personally the first time. Southern Boone Classic just down the road for us too. But really, again, going to have a full schedule of great competition.
And you made mention of rooting for the young lady when she puts on that Mizzou jersey. Folks may not realize, but you were Morgan I, played at Mizzou, and here's one of the most amazing stats: is you are the career leader in 3-point field goals made. at 367 at Mizzou. If you take the number 2 and the number 3 player on that list, they only beat you by 1 3-pointer, 368 to 367. But originally from Montrose, you're in your second year there at Hickman. What's been the biggest challenge outside of COVID? And everyone's dealt with that. Everybody's kind of in the same boat there. But going from that collegiate player to having to sit on the bench where you have a limited control of the game outside of calling defenses and offenses, what's been the biggest challenge to have to sit out?
Yeah, that's a very good point. I think Robin Pinchton, she told me whenever I left Mizzou, she said the next best thing to playing is coaching. And so while you can't go out and make the shots, coaching and teaching just in general, it's such a cool platform to work from in terms of getting to impact lives. And so I knew coming into high school athletics and coaching that I'll probably never come across maybe a player who's as passionate about the game as me. But that's why I coach. But I did know, part of my philosophy is that I've got to make my girls passionate about one another. Because when you're playing for something bigger than yourself, you're going to give a little bit more. And I think we're really starting to build that here. I think we got a group of girls. The chemistry is great. They want to do right by their teammates. They want to give more. So I think that's probably been the biggest thing for me, is just understanding like everyone's commitment level in terms of how much they love the game itself is going to vary. But they have to be fully committed to the team and our basketball family just in general.
Coach Scott, if you could go back the 2021, Coach Scott could go back to that 2000, I want to say 8, 9, Morgan I, maybe a freshman that year in high school, 2006, 2007, somewhere in there. You don't look at me like I've got you by 30 years, probably. I mean, I know I look 50 years older, but if you could go back and give Morgan I some advice, what would that be, knowing what you know now?
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I don't think this advice changes too much. I think you always hear people say, have fun, enjoy it because it goes by fast. Like we've known that for years. Like that's a thing that pretty much every senior says to the underclassmen, hey, enjoy it. It goes by so fast, but that truly is what happens. It goes by so fast. And I think what I learned too from my coaches while playing at Mizzou is they explained to me, listen, awards, accolades, all that stuff, that it ends up fading, but it's the relationships that matter. And that's what really lasts. And that is true. Like what I miss the most about playing is really having a team and the locker room, the memories you share from bus trips and everything. So it really is the relationship. So I'd maybe just enjoy that aspect even more. I'm still close with all of my teammates from Montrose, my teammates from Mizzou. So I think just being able to be even more in the moment would probably be my advice.
You bet. Well, when do you guys kick it off? What are you doing right now to prepare for the season?
So with the new mission rule, with getting to give a little bit of instruction during the week, our workouts look quite a bit different. We're able to insert things a little bit sooner or like tighten up some loose ends on things. So we're conditioning a lot, but just wanting to make sure we're ready to be full go come November 1st when we have tryouts.
You bet. Well, Coach Scott, I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time, and I know we'll catch up again soon. And best of luck here as you go forward. If you ever need anything from the Missouri Sports Network, just reach out and let us know, and we'll do what we can to help.
All right, absolutely appreciate your time.
You bet. You're listening to the Missouri Sports Network here at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage, and we'll be right back.